ASP Russell joins me on set for the Police and News segment as we work our way to 7 o'clock. And coming out of that very passionate and emotional conversation, we get back into, well, what is a very serious time, this state of emergency. I know, obviously, the Parliament will, they will meet on Monday. We saw that in the news cycle yesterday to determine if this will go beyond the 2nd. But nonetheless, we need to get an update, and I'm happy ASP Russell is here to give us the latest. Good morning to you, ASP Russell.
Pleasant good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioners, 1st and 2nd Division Officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. As usual, it's a pleasure being here.
Any latest? I know that sometimes most times you give us the details as to arrest, and I'm seeing some arrests were being made. I saw the number, it's about 160 if I'm not mistaken so far. What are some of the charges, or is it just based on suspicion of criminal enterprise?
Well, some of the charges are firearm-related offenses, persons held on warrants, marijuana, cocaine, ammunition. So far we have found assorted rounds of ammunition, 5.56, 9mm, .380. We have had over 700 traffic exercises. We have had 1,185 searches. Above that, we have had over 185 separate operations conducted. And I want to also commend the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and members of the Ministry of National Securities for their successful exercises where you see several kidnapped victims were reunited with their families. You know, I want to take the opportunity to thank them for that. I want to also thank the members of the public for partnering with us and giving us the information that is necessary that would have resulted in the capture of those suspects. I also want to say, as I'm sitting here, that I want to make a clarion call to the friends, the relatives, the parents of these criminal elements that are hell-bent on causing havoc or attempting to cause havoc in society, to please talk to your family members to desist from such behavior. You would have seen how some of the events would have unfolded over the last few days. I want to say condolences on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to the families that would have lost loved ones. However, I want to caution all the criminal elements in Trinidad and Tobago. Once you greet the members of the TTPS with lethal force, they will respond in accordance to their use of force policy, 92 of 2011. They will meet your force, they will match it. Yeah, I recognize it's been a very brutal week, a deadly week for the criminal element. 4 would have been taken out. 2 with the kidnapping case. I'm seeing, there was a situation. Victim.
And there's
escaped prisoner.
And there's a situation too I'm seeing also in Couva.
Yes.
Where they're saying that, but again, you know,
and that individual is in custody as well.
Right. And again, I'm not disputing some of the reports. You know, you listen to the TTPS and they will give their review of the scenario. We are not there, but. I just want to make sure there is, you know, due diligence, and indeed, because again, you know, as you said, rightfully so, if you all are meted with, if you all go to a scenario and you are attacked, you have to defend yourself. But again, there are folks just wondering, you know, if this is going to be a trend going forward, because I recognize that, especially with this commissioner, it seems like a no-nonsense kind of serious kind of policy going into these raids.
Well, the commissioner is giving a great level of support, and we thank him for that. And let me tell you something, no police shooting or any shooting done by police officers where persons would have met their demise or would have been injured goes uninvestigated. We have the PCA, Police Complaints Authority, that's an independent body. They do their investigation, and in accordance to our departmental orders, our standing orders, and our departmental orders, based on the rank of the person, no officer less than an assistant superintendent would be detailed to investigate as well. So there are several investigations that run side by side when somebody has been injured or met their demise as a result of a police-involved shooting.
And I'm happy to know that there are different layers of the investigation. My question now is, what happens to the officer who was involved, the officer who had to defend themselves? Are they taken off duty? Are they given counseling in any kind of way?
Well, let me tell you this. Our mental health, we really treat with those things. We have social workers, counselors, etc. in the police service. And if there is a desire, let me say you choose not to go by them, we also would recommend you to somebody privately.
So the reason I asked that, and I won't call the entertainer's name, but there's a guy, a good friend of mine, he, prior to getting into, well, he was always into singing, but he was involved, and strangely enough, in the coup, he was defending the Red House, police officer, and I think there was some kind of back and forth exchange of fire, and he said he fired a shot and the person collapsed, and he said that traumatized him to the point that when the coup was over, he actually resigned from the force and went into music. So we can't assume, you know, it's not like the movies. Yeah, there are real emotions you feel, even though you're defending yourself. And I'm happy to know that there is at least help in that regard.
Well, let me take it even one step further. Outside of our help in that regard, there is this rush for firearms. And I wonder if the persons, the civilians that are applying for these firearms are really willing and ready and has the emotional intelligence and mind space to use these firearms in accordance to what is stated in the law and to survive and continue with their lives thereafter.
Well, I mean, you see they're having the public consultations on that same topic, right? Barataria Community Center got it rolling this week, and I'm thinking that there needs to be serious conversation, serious soul searching as a nation as to if that is what we truly want. Because again, two things you got to take back. Spoken word, well, they say the arrow, well, three things, and a bullet.
Spent arrow, spoken word. And
a bullet. When it leaves the chamber, that's it, it's gone. And one must recognize that there is a tomorrow, and you have to live with what would have been done, even if you're defending yourself. Because again, most people, you know, you want to defend yourself. You don't want to be in your home and you're just, you know, like a sitting duck. But even in defense of that home, there is the afters, and I'm sure there are many who will have to also seek that counseling when they use lethal force. Well, I'll let you have the final say.
Well, with respect to our organization, counseling is mandatory.
Yeah.
With respect to these things, and on the final say, I know we want to thank the public for the information. We assure you that the SOE is targeted at the criminal elements. I want to also take this opportunity to tell my colleagues and other members in the Ministry of National Security to just be careful, be vigilant. We all would have heard the threats that emanated from the maximum security prisons. No threat should be taken as an idle threat. Be on your guard, be on your lookout. There are some events this weekend. Persons, be careful. Watch the Facebook marketplace, watch the places you park. Remember, you are the first police. Take your safety as your priority first. When going to events, when conducting your business, when doing your transaction, never tell yourself that you are immune or that it cannot happen to you.
ASP Russell, sincere thanks. Another successful Police and News segment this and every Thursday right here on The Morning Brew. Your 7 a.m. news update next.